Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is my privilege to introduce to you the City Clerk of the City of Boulder City, Lorene Krumm. Lorene will be addressing how to vote in Boulder City, where to vote, and how to register to vote in Boulder City, and whether or not election poll workers are needed, and what makes it different from Boulder City to the county as well. So thank you again for joining us. And
I'm happy to be here.
yes, so if you will just inform our viewers, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Okay, well, there are numerous ways to vote, and especially in 2020, the county has some new technology which offers even more options for citizens to be able to vote. One of the most common ways people can vote is just come to your local city clerk's office. You can go to the city of Henderson, city of Las Vegas, city of Boulder City. You don't have to live there to vote there, but we have all of the forms. Some of the benefits of coming to an office versus going online and printing the app and mailing it in is that we verify that your application is valid. We have to attend training twice a year through Clark County Election Department. And when we put our stamp on it, that tells the county we have seen your ID, it matches, and you do not have to even bring your Nevada driver's license to the polls when you vote. You would just turn in your sample ballot and it would match your signature. So that's one way, is to just come into a city clerk's office or the county to register. Another option is to go on the Clark County websites, the Clark County Election Department website. And if you want to mail in your voter registration, you can print it out from their website and mail it in. And then finally, with that method, you do have to show proof of ID when you go to the polls. And then the final method would be to go to the Secretary of State's website. I believe they have the ability to match your Nevada driver's license to the voter registration. But that's, whereas the county, you would have to print your app and mail it in. The Secretary of State, you can actually register online. So those are three options that you have to register.
Thank you. And then you, I think you addressed so when does early voting start? Boulder City, I believe it's nationwide, and where would they be able to go to, will they be able to go anywhere physically to early vote? And where would they go on election day?
Thank you for the question. You know, in the past several years, there's been so many changes in not only technology, but in laws to give everybody every possible opportunity to vote. So with respect to early voting, you know, sometimes a lot of information, when there's so much information, it can be confusing. But now you don't have to worry about where you're registered in a county and state election, because the county's technology now has the ability that you can go to any early voting site. We no longer have what they call like precincts, we have vote centers. So you can go to any vote center during the period of early voting. So for early voting, it's a 2-week period before any election. And those locations will be included on your sample ballot. But in Boulder City, early voting always takes place at City Hall. It's not for the full 2 weeks. It's, I apologize, my phone's ringing. It's not for the full 2 weeks, it's 4 days. Early voting in Boulder City is October 17th through the 20th. We try to include weekend days in there for our residents who work in the Valley, to give them the opportunity to come on a weekend. But there are 100, let's see, I'll tell you. There are 100 and I want to say 25 vote centers throughout the Valley. Some are what they call permanent sites, long-term early voting permanent sites, and sometimes they'll just perhaps do a couple days at a grocery store. But the early voting period is October 17th through the 30th, and it's at various locations throughout the Valley. I can give you some examples. It's always here in Boulder City. It's always at City Hall, but the county even has an app now that you can go on their website, and let's say you're at work and you just want to run on your lunch break and early vote, and you want to know the closest vote center. You can download the app. It will tell you where the vote center is, and it will even tell you how long the wait is. We, in Boulder City, we have a very, very active voting population. So a lot of people early vote, about 50% of our residents early vote, but it's very efficient and effective. It's rare that we have long lines. So I can elaborate on that a little bit, but they're in various locations throughout the valley, October 17th through 30th, and all of the info. Oh, I'm sorry, there's 159 vote centers through at early voting. So you'll have opportunities throughout the valley. And yes, you can vote in person. That seems to be a big misperception because everybody will be receiving a mail ballot this year, but you do have the opportunity to vote in person, not only during early voting, but also on election day.
Thank you. And then do you just, if you can just specifically address how City Hall in Boulder City will be dealing with the COVID-19 for the voting center physically? I would appreciate that.
Of course, just like in all public places currently, we can't predict how it's going to be on for early voting, but in the event that things stay the same and we're under the same order by the governor, everybody is required to wear masks in City Hall or any public place. So people who come into City Hall are required to wear masks. So everyone will be required to wear a mask and practice social distancing. So we will have, the voting machines will be set up in order to social distance, and we'll have the hallway, where people stand in line, we'll have that marked as well.
Thank you. And then where can they find this information? You had mentioned the county website. Would you mind giving us the address? But if you're not, we can put it up on Facebook, sorry.
Of course, the Clark County website, and all of this information is on there. There is a lot of information. The Clark County website is clarkcountynv.gov, and all the information's up there.
Perfect. And how does Boulder City look for election workers, volunteer election workers?
Well, because this is a county election, it's a county that seeks these volunteers, or well, they're not volunteers because they're paid, but they're looking for election workers. And I just recently received, all registered voters, I believe, received a big flyer in the mail saying we are seeking workers for this election. And it's on their website, and you can just click in the box to get information on how to assist. They are desperately seeking workers.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else? Any last?
I just wanted to just briefly discuss election day voting as well. On election day, there are, again, vote centers. We have 2 vote centers in Boulder City, and you can vote in person. Our locations are the Parks and Rec building, which is right next to City Hall, and at the Martha P. King Elementary School. And because the county has moved to vote center, well, we moved in 2015, and where a vote center is a place, it doesn't matter where you live, you can vote at a vote center, any vote center, because now they have the technology in real time to know who's voted and who has not. So on election day, you can vote at any vote center. If I'm a Boulder City resident and I wanted to vote at the mall, I can do that. That is pretty recent. So you also have the opportunity to vote in person on election day. But then the other thing I wanted to mention for those people who do not want to be in a large crowd and don't want to wear a mask, you can drop off your mail ballot. If you do not want to send it through the mail because you have concerns that it won't arrive in time, there are mail ballot drop-offs throughout the city. That information is on the county website as well. And we will have the drop-off here. I think that starts at the end of September. Let me get those dates. We will have the drop-off here, yes, from September 28th to October 29th. Boulder City residents can bring their ballot. Well, you don't even have to be a Boulder City resident. Anybody can bring their ballot to City Hall. It is a locked box that goes back to the county. It's very safe and secure. And then there are numerous locations for mail drop-offs throughout the valley. And then on election day, our mail drop-off location is the Parks and Rec building. So for those who just want to, not be exposed in any manner and want to drop off their mail ballot, they have that ability as well. And then just the other thing I want to mention that I think is very important is, because everybody is going to receive a mail ballot, if you decide that you're not going to use your mail ballot and you would prefer to vote in person, do not throw that mail ballot away. Bring it in to the vote center that you choose and surrender it. And that way it ensures, that people, are choosing one method or the other.
That's great information. Every interview I learn a little bit more. So I believe this is the first time surrendering the mail-in ballot was addressed. So I appreciate that as well. Yes, because for those who want to physically show up and vote in person, that's good information to know. I appreciate that as well. Mm-hmm. Well, if there's nothing else to address, I greatly appreciate your time. I believe this was extremely informative, and what we are encouraging people to do is, first and foremost, register to vote if you are not a registered voter, and then most definitely your vote matters, so we would encourage everybody to vote. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you again.
Thanks, Molly.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the live feed, but if you'll stay on, I'll appreciate it.
Sure.